네, 그럼 지금부터
So we'll begin the Global Food Alliance seminar.
to the third Global Food Alliance seminar. I am Sun Young Park, and I'll be guiding you today through today's session. This event is part of the Global Food Alliance, which aims to connect experts and companies in the food tech sector worldwide. This event is also sponsored by Innovation Center Denmark in Seoul. Thanks to them, we were able to make this seminar an online and offline hybrid. Today, we have an exciting lineup of speakers sharing insights on sustainable food solutions, innovative technology, and real-world success stories. We have participants joining us both online and in person, and we hope you'll find this session inspiring and informative. Before we begin with the speaker presentation, we would like to share a special video message from Mr. Kim Deok-ho, CEO of Foodpolis, who is joining us virtually to deliver his welcome remarks.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Deok-ho Kim, Chairman of the Korea Food Industry Cluster Promotion Agency. I'd like to congratulate you on the opening of today's seminar under the theme of Driving Global Sustainability in Food, Innovative Food Tech Solutions. I'm confident that this seminar will serve as a meaningful platform to share the latest technologies and success stories in the global food tech sector and to connect outstanding companies and experts from around the world. Simultaneously, I will be attending the groundbreaking ceremony of the Food Tech Research Support Center at our agency. This Food Tech Research Support Center will also focus on research in plant-based protein and production method, contributing to global food sustainability efforts, while becoming a core facility to support companies within the promotion agency. Although I cannot greet you in person today, I firmly believe that the experiences and insights shared by today's speakers will greatly contribute to the sustainable growth of both the Korean and global food industries. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to everyone who prepared this seminar, and I hope it will be a meaningful experience for all participants. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kim, for the warm welcome. Now, let's move on to our speaker session. Our first keynote speaker is Mr. Park Jong-sop, Validation Support Department Manager here at Foodpolis. He will share how we've opened some of our production facilities as shared kitchens to support sustainability in the domestic food industry. And he will highlight some of the successful cases that have come out of these shared spaces. Please welcome Mr. Park to the stage.
Hello, and thank you for being here today. My name is Jung-suk Park, and I am pleased to have the opportunity to speak with you. Today, I will give a presentation on sustainable public production system, focusing on the share factory operated by the Food Promotion Agency of Korea. And I will using Korean language. Okay. Next.
Today, this is my contents. First and foremost, I would like to walk you through the meaning of shared kitchen. Secondly, I would like to shed light on the shared kitchens in Korea and the shared kitchens at our agency. And fourthly, I would like to share some case studies that have been supported by our agency. So, what defines the shared kitchens? Shared kitchen, as you may guess from the image, happens on a single platform, in a single place where various businesses can be carried out. As you can guess from the image, there are some cases. First and foremost, it was originated from the United States. In the beginning, Andy Brown Eaton, as a pizza, came about in Washington, D.C., and the origin was the Union Kitchen in Washington, D.C. For 3 months, they have facilitated development process and they were able to develop prototype products. As a result, frozen pizza was developed in the beginning. So frozen pizza ranked number 1 for the first time, which gained momentum in small areas. So Eaton Pizza tapped into locally sourced ingredients while leading the leadership role in the region. There are a lot of benefits of shared kitchens. First and foremost, there is an economic efficiency. Secondly, social interaction can be facilitated and cost savings can be realized. Fourthly, there is a comfort or convenience. Fifth, there is a learning effects. First and foremost, let's take a look at economic effects. Shared kitchens can be based on shared investment while reducing maintenance costs, so economic benefits can be achieved. In the beginning, many startups are considering a lot of upfront costs. At the same time, they rarely consider maintenance costs, which pose a big challenge to them. Secondly, there is an advantage coming from social interaction. So they are in the same sector and same business, which could facilitate mutual interaction. Relevant technologies and sales routes could gain momentum from each other. Third, cost savings can be achieved. As you may guess, this is renter-based concept, so costs can be saved. Startups could not have to spend a big money in the beginning, which serve as a good foundation. Convenience, diversity, and learning are additional benefits. Let me move on to the next page. I would like to walk you through what kind of shared kitchen is available at the agency. The shared kitchen that we are facilitating goes beyond a just kitchen culture towards industrial concept. The shared kitchen in South Korea is about startups who are manufacturing and producing foods with small costs. So this is a one kind of business model. This business model started in 2019 and legal testing has been conducted, which ensures the safety for food businesses. So there was a boom, and after the foundation in December 2021, there was a legal amendment which paved the way for this concept. As of now, 46 business locations are existing, and the number has been on the rise. As you can see from the screen, this is Food Sanitation Act of the Republic of Korea. Under the Food Sanitation Act, there is a terminology such as shared kitchen with the scope such as manufacturing, processing, cooking, storage, and repackaging as a whole, and the scope and definition are well established. So in order to develop shared kitchen, the first thing you need to understand is the legal entity. First, there are direct food production and the indirect food production. Direct food production is facilitated based on your own brand and your own record with your own facility. In the meantime, OEM or indirect production means you are having brand while you cannot own the manufacturing records. In particular, OEM indirect cost entails a high production cost in the beginning. Secondly, a lot of production technologies can be exposed to the others. Thirdly, there is some kind of issue that may increase your inability to achieve the desired quality. However, when you stick to the direct production, then you can offset all the downside of OEM. However, in the meantime, a lot of SMEs do not have a sufficient amount of equipment and technologies. That is why we are facilitating the concept shared kitchen. You don't have to own your production facility. Nevertheless, you can have your own brand on your own system. So lower production cost and no risk of production technology being exposed are the added benefits. That is why many SMEs are willing to produce their products based on shared kitchen.
그렇지만
However, there are disadvantages. Actually, there are not that many facilities with shared kitchens. So here in Korea, there are 5 public facilities or organizations that have shared kitchens. However, our agency has one of the largest and best shared kitchen systems. So in Korea, the shared kitchen concept has been expanded to include the sharing of facilities that enable industrial scale food manufacturing. So the concept of shared kitchen has been extended into the shared food factory. So at the promotion agency, the shared kitchen offers more than just manufacturing space. It also provides equipment, rental, technical support for food manufacturing and training on equipment operation. So that's why there are many small and medium-sized SMEs who want to be in this facility. And this is about the advantages of the shared kitchen of the Food Industry Promotion Agency of Korea. So automated production facilities and smart HACCP and shared warehouse, low usage fees, and equipment operation training, production technology training, process standardization, and there are many support measures and systems in place. So these assistants are good for SMEs who have good ideas but who want to do manufacturing of their products. So with these advantages, many companies are participating in this type of facility. So, in a big picture, actually, there are 2 kinds, 2 centers in our agency that have shared kitchens: Functional Food Formulation Center and the Pilot Plant Center. Let me go one by one. So this is the Functional Food Formulation Center. As you can see, so liquid-centered production and manufacturing is the focus. So for example, the PET beverage, liquid stick, a spout pouch, a shaved pouch, and the 4-side seal pouch and soft capsules are manufactured here. So, for example, using the shared kitchen means that you produce and manufacture finished products. So that's why packaging facilities are very important. So as you can see, and depending on the product categories, we have the necessary equipment and facilities in place. So depending on the idea and also the concretizations of their idea, SMEs are able to produce and manufacture their items and products here. And let me talk about the pilot plant. So for example, and these are the facilities and equipment that we have at the center: the fermentation systems, extractors and concentrators, and so on. So when you take a look at the product categories, you would see powder sticks, powder pouch, chewable items, and so on. So as you can see in the pictures, there are different kinds of extractions and freezing facilities and the fermentation facilities. So we are supporting many different kinds of companies through our facilities and equipment. So this is one of the success stories. For example, there is a company named Core Bio. It is a company specializing in the production of kombucha. They operate their production lines. However, their production line is dedicated to glass type products. So there were limitations. But however, With the decline in the kombucha market, the company has been striving to launch various new products, and along with our agency, the company was able to develop the new manufacturing process, enabling large-scale production of liquid tea products. So the product was successfully launched, and as a result, profit of the company is going up. And secondly, this is the case of Soy Food Biome. It is a company that joined the Venture Center and our agency. So the company possesses fermentation and technologies. So this venture company had good ideas. However, they didn't have the necessary facility equipment. So they used our facility, and they didn't have the large-scale production experience. By working with us, the company developed different production process technologies. So plant-based condensed milk could be made as a result, and beverage products and allulose products could be developed by using our facilities and also by receiving our support. And this is the last example that I will be sharing with you. So this is the SBC company. So it produces cosmetic raw materials. They focus on researching and discovering new substances. So they didn't have an experience in the food industry. However, they wanted to expand into the food industry. So with ideas and with different materials, they wanted to extend their arena to the food industry. So they worked with us. As a result, they could make a stick jelly type products. So in the first place, they started from the cosmetics industry. That's why they did not have any idea about the food industry. So in terms of regulatory informations, we assisted them and we supported them. So this ends my presentation. So through the shared kitchens, we are helping new startups and newly established companies. So we are providing them with the facility and equipment, and also technical and technological experts are supporting SMEs and startups. And we are realizing the shared economy together. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Park, for introducing these successful cases of the shared kitchen. I hope more companies participate in this concept and create innovative technologies and release better products in the market. For our next speaker, we have Ms. Aria Varela Campo, CEO of ODS Protein of Spain. ODS Protein is a food biotech startup creating next-generation proteins through fermentation of filamentous fungi. Their process upcycles food industry byproducts to produce high-quality, nutritious, and environmentally friendly microprotein ingredients. Ms. Aria will present on fermentation, a technology to deliver next-generation proteins worldwide, demonstrating how fermentation can accelerate the global protein transition. Please give a warm welcome to Ms. Aira.
Well, good morning from Spain, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. My name is Iria Varela, and I'm the founder of ODS Protein, a food tech company based in Spain. Today, I'm going to introduce you to ODS Protein and show you how fermentation and upcycling can help us deliver the next generation of proteins. Proteins that are healthy, functional, and sustainable. Let's begin with the challenge. By the year 2050, our global population is expected to reach 10 billion people. That means we will need to increase our global food production by around 70%. But here is the problem when it comes to scaling up our systems. We are running out of fertile soil, clean water, and natural resources. Climate change is already reducing crop productivity and limiting where we can grow food.
Sorry
our
to
food
interrupt, Miss Aria, but the slide is not moving currently. Could you please check?
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
And our food system already responsible for 1/3 of the global greenhouse gas emission. Do you see the Protein Global Challenge slide?
No, we're still at the first slide.
What I was saying is the main challenge is that by the year 2015, after our global population is expected to reach 10 billion people, that means we will need to increase our global food production by 70%. But the main problem is that we are running out of fertile soil, clean water, and natural resources. Climate change is already reducing crop productivity and limiting where we can grow food. And our food system is already responsible for 1/3 of the global greenhouse emissions. So when we talk specifically about protein, animal proteins are specifically a good nutritional result, but it's facing a problem when it comes to scaling up our productions. And when we are talking about plant-based protein, it can present difficulties in a nutritional way and from a specific technological difficulties to be implemented in food matrices. So how do we think it could be a good solution to overcome this problem? It's fermentation. And why fermentation? Well, mainly because it's a technology that we all know. We have been fermenting almost since forever. We know it in many typical products that you might know, like yogurt, cheese, miso, soy sauce. So we are redefining fermentation in terms of producing protein. So how do we do it? So we are using filamentous fungi that are approved for human consumption, and we create a nutritious broth to grow this fungi, upcycling waste streams from the food industry. So we are using liquid fermentation in order to obtain this next generation protein that is called mycoprotein. So our flagship is Nahua protein. Nahua protein is a mycoprotein obtained from fermentation of filamentous fungi, and it has 4 key advantages. It has a high value nutrition. It's a complete protein with all essential amino acids comparable to animal proteins. It's high in dietary fiber, promoting gut health and satiety, and it's naturally low in fat and free from cholesterol. In terms of health, it supports heart health by helping reduce cholesterol levels. It has a low glycemic index, aiding blood sugar reduction, and it's rich in beta-glucans, known for immune boosting properties. In terms of functional and versatility, it's naturally fibrous texture, excellent water and fat retention, enhanced flavor due to its natural umami profile, and it's ideal for diverse applications that I'll mention later, being a great solution and clean label. And instead, in terms of sustainability, it requires much less water, land, and energy, and supports a circular economy by valorizing food industry byproducts. In short, Nahua protein is good for the people and as well good for the planet. In here, in this slide, you can see different applications that has been already validated by using Nahua protein. You could see we are working in different verticals of the food industry. One clear opportunity is in meat alternatives and hybrid products, where mycoprotein can provide both structure and nutritional value. We are also working in terms of developing fish alternatives and seafood. In here you can see an octopus, because in our region in Spain is one of the main dishes. But we can also have a strong potential in dairy-free formulations, offering functionality and protein content for plant-based yogurt, cheeses, or beverage. And we can also be a functional ingredient fortifying products with protein, improve its texture, or even contribute to clean label formulations. So our protein is not just a niche of alternative protein space, but it has applications across the mainstream of the food industry. At ODS, our impact goes beyond producing just ingredients. We are also reshaping or want to reshape how the food system works. So we are working with companies in order to reduce food waste and emissions. That allows us to tackle environmental challenge, but also unlocks new value from what once was discarded. Around 30% of all the food produced globally is wasted. That means billions of tons, side streams like fruit pulps, bagaces, potato peels, spring grains, and more. But instead of discarding them, we can also use them as a substrate because fungi is a natural upcycler. So the result by doing this is a high value protein, fibers, and materials. But for succeeding, we are always having these 3 points in mind that are technological feasibility, an available side stream, and a marketable outcome of the process. And when these 3 are aligned, we can create real value. Now I'm going to explain you 3 projects that we have already worked on. In this first one, we work with a company that we're producing chips from potato chips, and they have tons of different side streams like peel potato, small potatoes, or not a good shaped potato. So we worked together to be able to obtain a way of not throwing this waste and using it as a raw material for our process. So we created a process in which we were able to obtain mycoprotein out of this main ingredient that it was creating a huge cost, not only economically, but also sustainable for this producer. In this second project, instead of using or working with the potato industry, we work with the industry of agar extraction. So for the ones that don't know, agar is a component that is mainly used in microbiology and food industry as well as an ingredient to create the structure. And it's obtained through the extraction of red algae. But in this process, it's obtained tons of discard biomass that right now it's only underused for livestock. But right now, what we are working with this project is we want to obtain main ingredients that are for us very important in our formulation of the broth, enable to obtain as well through fermentation a different protein, and we are working to make it to create aquafeed cultures. So basically, they want to create aquaculture circular and closed, because right now the main problem is that they are using feed to fishes to feed another fishes. So their problem is not solved at the standpoint. And in this third project I want to mention, we are not using liquid fermentation, we are using solid fermentation, and we have validated many different size streams in order to create value. So we've been working with different industries from wood industry. We also use fruit pulps, bagaces from the beer industry, and also the wasted meat casings that are used, for example, at sausages. And the idea of this project, it was to combine different fungi and different side streams in order to obtain not only ingredients, but also create something that it could be valuable. So the possible market outcomes that it would come out from this project at the very beginning, it was we were asked to obtain either ingredients, either final food products, packaging, biomaterials, or even textile. So you can see here the main possibilities. We didn't get to the textile, but the market, it's already producing this kind of technologies, and I'm sure it could be affordable. But ingredients, it was achieved. The food products, it was achieved. We were producing meat analogous. And then packaging, it was also a good solution, and materials. So the idea with this kind of projects is to use a technology that is validated in order to turn waste into something valuable. So to sum up, how do we bring this technology to the market? So we are a B2B company, so we help other companies in three different ways. The main one is by selling ingredients. We mainly say now proteins as a functional ingredient, and we are targeting food manufacturers, ingredient blenders. Then the second one is to co-develop finished products, because as we saw, mycoprotein is a very new product in the market. So our customers didn't know how to implement it, and it was taking a long time for development. So we decided to create it in-house, the developments, to be able to show to the product manufacturers. And like this, we were faster in the arrive to the market. And the third one is through innovation partnerships, in which we are doing R&D collaboration with industry players to co-create either new ingredients from side streams, and also have a win-win, because we win circularity and create new value chains. So to conclude, let me leave you this thought. The protein challenge is one of the greatest tests of our generation. Feeding 10 billion people sustainably is not optional, it's our responsibility. And at ODS Protein, we believe the fermentation and upcycling are key to delivering next generation proteins. Proteins that are nutritious for food, functional for ingredient, and sustainable for the planet. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Ms. Aria, for sharing precious insights of microprotein-based protein. It sure is an interesting ingredient to create meat-like textures, and it was an eye-opening experience for all of us to learn how fermentation is a key part of this. So we will have a separate Q&A session after the end of the webinar, so please stay tuned, and if you are participating online, please leave your questions in the chat box. So next speaker is our third speaker, Mr. Luis Gimeno Moral, COO of Oscilum Biotechnology, the first Spanish company to win the European Patent Office's Young Investors Prize for their Adavai Black technology, a smart level indicating the real-time state of food. Mr. Moral will speak about sustainability in packaging from conventional to functional packaging, showing how biotech solutions can make the invisible visible and protect food quality and consumer health. Please welcome Mr. Moral to the front screen.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I will now share my screen. I hope you can see the screen perfectly, correctly. So first of all, thank you very much. My name is Luis. I'm actually one of the founders and the currently COO of Oscilum. And just a quick summary, Oscilum, it's a biotechnology company. We are based in Spain, and basically the main goal of Oscilum is the development of innovative solutions through biotechnology. More specifically, what we do is that we develop smart and active packaging to give functionality to certain packaging. A little bit of context on this kind of presentation, but I will be speaking, as it was mentioning, mainly about sustainability in packaging and how the functionality of the packaging can help towards more sustainable packaging and more sustainable practices, specifically, of course, in the food sector. So just for a little bit of context, Oscilum, it's born in 2019 with one of the main goals, which is to make packaging or make agri-food industry more sustainable through innovation in packaging. The context here is that, as we are all very aware of, food waste is one of the major problems right now in the agri-food industry. It occurs across the whole value chain, not only in the consumer level, but also during distribution and also in the restaurants and hotels and catering sector. And the main problem here is the lack of information that as a consumer or as an industry we have about the product in each of the stage. So basically the problem is the question regarding or around, is this product still edible? Is this still suitable for consumers? So these questions it's leading towards the waste of food. And regarding to this problem, paradoxically, as a consumer, when we throw food because we don't know if it's good or not, or good in good conditions or not, we tend to throw it away because we want to avoid food poisonings. But at the same time, more than 20% of the people gets these food poisonings across, or at least, for example, this is data from Europe. Among those, the infection with Listeria is one of the most problematic ones, with around 12% of death rate. So what's happening here? If we are wasting food because we don't want to get spoiled, but at the same time we are getting spoiled, what is the problem here? As I mentioned, the biggest problem here is the lack of information that we have about those products in certain times. So I will be focusing, so in this context, Ostilon is born with the development of a smart packaging, colorimetric smart packaging, to alert when the products are not suitable anymore. But before I jump towards the solution, I would like to go a little bit more about these remaining questions of what does define a packaging to be sustainable. This is a great question, because who defines that, and what is the main definition of it? Is it based on the material? Is it based on the relevance of the product, whether the product needs actually packaging or not, which is also a good elaboration? Is it functionality of the packaging, or is it durability, or let's say better recyclability, or some other aspects that lead that packaging can be used more time? So these are certain questions, and the answer to all of this is like, it's a combination of all of them. It depends actually on the industry, it depends actually on the product, and of course it depends actually on the necessity. How do we select, for example, materials? Materials are, well, comparing a little bit more, there are conventional materials or new materials also that can be implemented. So how do we select the material of the product? This is pretty first step thing. It is based mainly on the product itself, whether we need a higher barriers to certain products or to certain gases or components, whether we need to print something on top of it, whether the packaging needs some atmosphere or resistance, whether it's vacuum sealed or not. So there is a lot of questions regarding this, what the material that we are using. Right now, we have a lot of conventional materials, for example, polyethylene, polyethylene terephthalate, polypropylene, or even combination of those things. And in the other side, we have other new materials that are more regarding to compostable or biodegradable materials. So this is other new parameter that we implement here. The question is it better, those new materials, than the previous one? Well, it actually depends on the context and the market. Also, very important aspect based on the material. Not always the materials are bad or are not suitable. Depends on its configuration. For example, we have monomaterial solutions, which use only one material, or complex solutions that use several materials. Just to give you a little bit of a certain example or a certain data, right now in Europe, there is a new regulation that basically what it says, or to summarize it, is that it's better in the context of European Union to use monomaterial products over, for example, compostable. Even though compostables and biodegradable are good, of course, the push is more towards the monomaterial. And this is basically because one reason, because of the infrastructures that are required for this compostable material. So since we don't have this infrastructure, at least not at this point developed, it is better to use monomaterial solutions that can be recyclable, and that those infrastructures we have. So this is a lot of questions regarding to this thing. Regarding to functionality, we have other different of questions. Conventional packaging versus functional packaging, which is the main focus of this, let's say, well, of my speech. Smart packaging, all of those that we are developing as well as active packaging can help, because if we have another value to the packaging, other relevance to the packaging, that can help us actually in different aspects of sustainability, that is also sustainable packaging, even though maybe the material could be the conventional ones. So more focusing on this aspect, what I mean by smart and functional packaging. By smart packaging, I will speak about two different points, technologically, but also conceptually. Smart packaging is also defined when a packaging is necessary or not. I have here two clear examples of packaging that is not necessary to pack one banana or to pack a mandarin that has been already peeled. The smart move here will be understanding that this is not necessary, because it's even more complex. It gives more complexity to the consumer and more complications actually here. So this is the first step of smart packaging, but I will be focusing, of course, in active and smart packaging in the technological aspects. So in this context, in Ostilium, we have several products that can help towards this sustainability change. And one of them is the active packaging, which is additives for making or giving a functionality to the packaging. This is under our brand Stint. So we're gonna hear a lot of Stint with a certain surname, which is the functionality that it gives. And in one of these products, it's a Stint Pure. Stint Pure is an antimicrobial additive that we add to the food, specifically for vacuum seal components. But what basically it does is that it keeps quality and freshness, plus it increases the food safety because it prevents foodborne infection. Basically, it stops them. So this kind of packaging, how can they help to make the packaging more sustainable, or how is it the problem? Well, right now, for example, to add certain antimicrobial capacities, we need to add certain coatings, if we want them, of course. We need to add certain coatings to different packaging. What's the main problem with those coatings is that it makes the packaging not recyclable, or it affects the recyclability of the packaging. Not only about antimicrobial capacity, but we are talking about other additives, for example, anti-fog, which is visually. Those coatings, most of them affect the recyclability of the product, which basically makes the product more or non-sustainable. So in one of the examples here with Stint Pure is that adding this component, which is added directly towards the film, it's not a coating itself, can help or reduce the use of those coatings that makes the packaging not recyclable. While our solution, of course, it's important to mention, doesn't affect the recyclability. And many other solutions doesn't affect the recyclability. Also, one of the key important aspects of this solution is that can use to reduce the use of complex materials that I was talking before. Because we right now, for this kind of solutions, for this kind of product that we can see here, also for fish, the film that is required has certain complexity because it's a different layers of materials to give different properties or barriers. So with Stint Pure, for example, we don't require that because we already give that solution in there. It doesn't affect the barrier, and we can add different films and use also monomaterial films that doesn't affect the product. Another example, for example, is Stint Fresh, which is pretty similar. Only the main aspect here is that we monitor, or what we do is that we regulate the moisture inside the packaging and increases the moisture barrier. Basically, it allows to maintain an optimal humidity in the container, preventing the damage and the proliferation of fungi. So we are adding here an extra value, which is extending the shelf life of the product, but with a solution that can also make the packaging more sustainable. How? Because we substitute some coatings that right now they are being applied for this kind of functionality. But also we are helping to use monomaterials with better barrier properties. If we are using now complex materials because we don't have the barrier required, maybe here we can use materials that maybe they don't have the moisture barrier very high, but with Stint Fresh we can increase that. So we can help them to use only monomaterial solutions. But also here, we can also improve the properties of compostable materials. This is also key aspect that I didn't mention before, but certain compostable materials that are very beneficial for the ecosystem because it doesn't damage, it doesn't generate a residue. The main problem of those materials right now is that the barriers are not still 100% compared to the conventional materials. But with Steamed Fresh, we can actually help those materials to get those properties. So basically, the functionality, as I was mentioning before, can help to make the solution more sustainable, to add a value towards the packaging itself. If we go to the advice part, which is the biosensors or the part of the smart packaging, that can also generate a benefit on the products, on the packaging, how to make that more sustainable. Not directly, maybe in this case, because just considering we are adding something extra towards the packaging, but that's something that we are adding towards the packaging. It's helping the packaging to first reduce waste, which is already sustainable, but not only the waste, we also reduce the disposal of that packaging that has been produced, has been implemented, and that has not been used at all. So these kind of solutions, in this case, for example, we have a Buy Black. A Buy Black is a colorimetric smart label or smart ink that basically changes color based on the microbial activity. Basically, it let us know when the product is still being edible based on microbial activity, or when the product is not longer as complying with this microbial activity, and or basically that can make a damage to the consumer, and when it needs to be discarded. So this is a clear example on how this smart packaging not only help on the aspects of reducing the food, improving the food safety or reducing the food poisonings, let's say that way, but also how can it help to reduce the food waste and the waste of packaging. Of course, this solution itself is not, let's say, a sustainable solution, but the function that it adds, the value that it adds, it's helping to be more sustainable, to make that packaging more sustainable. So this is complex concept on how to make the solution more sustainable, but basically that functionality that we provide has more value than the material itself. So that's how the industry can become more sustainable, or the packaging that, for example, cannot have the other solutions, cannot have other implementations. One clear example here is meat industry. Meat industry, it's very sensitive in this case. And of course, the replacement of the current conventional packaging is more complex, because we really need to maintain certain properties. We really need to maintain certain barriers for the packaging. So it's very complex to switch towards something more sustainable this way, but we can add certain functionality to prevent the damages that can cause the waste of that packaging and the waste of that food. This is, as I was mentioning, it's a certain way on how can we help the industry to be more sustainable towards the functionality of the packaging. And this is basically what we do in Australia. We develop these kind of solutions and then we provide. It's in a B2B model, basically. So the companies can directly implement these solutions in their packaging, in their food, and then it can give clear information about what's happening. And of course, having functionality. So as a summary, I would like to just point out the main important aspects of what makes a packaging more sustainable, or what could make a packaging more sustainable. And of course, one of them is considering the materials. As I was mentioning before, monomaterial solutions are wider, more sustainable than complex solutions, even though they are conventional materials, because they are recyclable. When we have a lot of materials one on top of each other, and we have different layers of materials, that film itself is not recyclable, and it's not good for infrastructures neither. And this is also something to be considering, because a lot of consumers, of course, would dispose those kind of materials for recyclability, but it doesn't really help, because it actually damages the solutions in most of the cases. Then we have the smart use of packaging. which is different than the use of smart packaging. As I was mentioning before, considering what's really it's the necessity of the packaging, if a certain product needs the packaging or not, that's also a sustainable practices on sustainable packaging. Sometimes we don't require packaging. Why do we need to add the packaging to certain products that are already protected? So this is also something that should be considered during this process, right? During the aspects of making or having a sustainable packaging. Adding functionality, as I was mentioning before, it also helps to make the packaging more sustainable, because if we can add as a functionality that it's completely compatible with the recyclability aspects and completely compatible with the products itself, we can actually take out all of those aspects of the product, of the packaging that is not that are not sustainable or that are preventing the packaging to be more sustainable. And of course, promoting a function that could help to reduce food poisoning or reduce food waste, which is causing a lot of damages as well, is also an indirect way of making a packaging more sustainable. If we can prevent that packaging at the end of the day to be disposed, that's also a functionality that the packaging can have. It can help to make the packaging more sustainable. It's not, as I mentioned, it's not a direct action, but it's an indirect action that can also help the consumer. This is pretty much what I wanted to speak, what I wanted to show you. I hope everything was clear. I'm more than glad to answer any questions. And please do not hesitate. Basically, we are here as a Stilon to make packaging more sustainable, and of course to become a new standard, right? So one that is more accessible to everyone, and that can also help the industry to face the current challenges. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Morale, for the informative speech about sustainable packaging. Again, we will have separate Q&A sessions after all the speakers, so please stay tuned. I believe packaging is a crucial factor of the food quality control, and Adivive is a great invention to detect this, and I believe Osolum's new technology will be a game changer in the market. Now, for our next speaker, we welcome Mr. Hwang Hyung-seop, CEO of Delight Food, which produces fiber-based plant proteins using extrusion technology to enhance texture and functionality. Delight Food has been recognized as a TIPS company from the Ministry of SMEs and Startups and as a Mass Challenge finalist company. Mr. Hwang will present on the technology of high-quality and fiber-based plant protein production, sharing insights into innovative plant-based protein technologies. Please give Mr. Hwang a warm welcome to the screen.
네, 안녕하세요.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, everyone. We are Delight Food, a food company. So I'm adjusting my screen, so let me begin. Unfortunately, so we are producing like innovative food products. So I'm Hwang Won-seop. We are Delight Food. I'm based in South Korea. So I'm located in the city of Pohang. So I have two offices in Pohang and Iksan, where you are currently located. So when we said that we will be doing plant-based meat, the most frequently asked question was, I'm a lover for animal-based one. So will you just stick to the current way of doing things? So isn't it possible to do this animal-based one? So by 2050, the population size will increase by 25%. So there will be 40% increase in demand for animals according to market research. In order to keep up with the demand for increased demand for animal-based meat, that means 47% of forests will be deforested. In addition, there are various diseases such as avian influenza and cholera, which cause a fluctuation in animal based meat. Accordingly, regulations have been coming up against animal based meat. Naturally, it means there will be unsustainable outcomes. As an alternative, plant based meat has been coming up as an alternative. So if you tried out the plant-based meat, so if you're located in European region, you may feel that there has been big improvement. You may feel that it feels good today, but it is not that good if you try this tomorrow. These are consumer perceptions. By 2024, there was a price parity. Thanks to price parity, there were some challengers who would like to try out this new alternative meat. Still, some say that this is somewhat different from the original meat. Accordingly, people do not choose alt meat. As a result, by 2028, the market will see a tectonic shift. As a technological advancement, starting 2028 onward, more people express willingness to try out the alternative meat or plant-based meat, according to market research. However, reality shows a difference. There are somewhat negative feedback. In a nutshell, there are two US companies that represent the plant based meat. Please take a look at the stock prices of Impossible Meat and Beyond Meat. Compared to their heyday, 90% stock drop was shown. Then, what triggers such change and where is progress going forward? So people feel that there are some similarity with the original meat from Beyond Meat and the Impossible Meat, but experience-wise, there's some missing gap. So what kind of experience are they referring to? Number one, taste. In terms of flavor, aroma, and appearance, people say that it looks really similar. However, when they chew them out, it feels like spongy, which makes it difficult for people to recognize them as a real meat in terms of microstructure. Secondly, price is another culprit. It was 2018 when this meat came about for the first time. As a cheaper protein alternative, people say that they might try out this kind of new things. However, premium market was their major target. What people wanted to try out is everyday affordable options. So that kind of transition into affordability didn't happen. So we tap into various market circumstances and the trends. Then my next question is what kind of products and technologies should we develop? There is a GFI, the biggest food tech research company in Thailand, and we targeted the professors and researchers. According to our research, it turns out that extrusion is one of the most important technologies in plant-based meat. Beyond Meat was number one player in extrusion technology. With extrusion technology alone, consumers' demands could not be fulfilled. What we needed is new structure technology for fiber. Professors and institutions offer that kind of insights. Based on that, we decided to join Mass Challenge, which is the biggest sustainability contest. We joined the contest this year. Out of the participating companies, we are the only one who was dedicated to producing plant-based meat as a finalist. So this is what we are doing well. And fiber is an important technology in plant-based meat, and this is the such substantiation. This is comparison chart. Beyond Meat was the trailblazer, which focused on protein structure, which protein to use, which process to use, how high quality meat will be produced were their main focus. But there was some limitation. In order to overcome limitation, Swiss Planted came up. So rheology was utilized for producing chewy, more enhanced texture-based meat. So in 3 to 4 years, 300 billion investment were attracted, which made this Swiss company the biggest player in Europe. But there was more improvement to be made. As a result, fiber specialized companies pop up. For example, Fiber Stop focused on citrus fiber, When citrus fiber was embedded into meat, it becomes even chewier. Going one step further, we not only focused on this citrus fiber, but also refined and the desired level of diameter and length so that our desired flavor and texture can be realized. In a nutshell, when we produce the plant-based meat, it is like producing soy, creating soy-based protein, and facilitating extrusion-based process into the meat. This is what the original players used to do in order to optimize extrusion process. Dietary fiber, new material technology, and rheology structure technology were our two key platforms. I would like to elaborate on this process. Please take a look at the screen. So there is a water-only one on the left, and the water-based one, and the nanofiber-based one. And this is dropping test that can be shown. So we put only invisible amount of water, the nanofiber, but it reinforced the structure. Just like the same mechanism, we trigger the protein structure and enhanced chewiness technology of ours. The technologies purchased by us and the dietary fiber of ours are the upcycling technology based ones. So agri waste, side stream, biosynthetic process, wood pulp can be our possibility. We are covering from nanoscale to microscale, so a diversity of diameter and length could be produced. So crystallinity and surface and various physical property could be realized and various texture could be realized based on our core technology. Another key technology of ours is rheology. Rheology is underutilized in food processing. This is compressor in the middle of the screen. So this compressor will be installed next year in Iksan office of ours. So there is a screw configuration and screw in the middle of it, and temperature could be adjusted for meat production. This is not decomposed well. It is not well breaking down. So how it is structured and how it is being transformed should be covered only based on imagination. However, when you utilize rheology, how protein is denaturated inside and how it is structured and how our eaten fiber is aligned could be analyzed. Based on that, a better texture was able to be made, softer, chewy texture, just like meat, were developed. In a nutshell, based on existing extrusion technology, we created new material technology. Building upon rheology mechanism, structuralization was possible. By processing them based on AI, speedier optimization is possible. If there are any our target products or foods in just 2 weeks, that could be created based on our technology. I mentioned about Beyond Meat, other US well-known competitors. So up to 234% stronger texture was realized. So when we compare ours against the most basic one, just as meat, which fiber is a contributor to softness was analyzed. Duck, chicken, and even porks could be covered in a wider spectrum, and such texture could be analyzed. In the beginning, catering was our initial point. We wanted to see how consumers are perceiving, how they are responding to plant-based meat. As you can see, we created catering and met a lot of customers. Based on earned feedback, which fiber should be created was our key concept. Upcycling material was one of the key concepts. That is why we are carrying out cooperation with a lot of upcycling companies so that a dietary fiber, could be embedded into meat making. Going one step further, recently, lithoid products or ambient room temperature products could have some integration so that it could be exported to overseas markets. Based on collaboration, revenues are being generated. So where could plant-based meat go forward? There was a key concept that keep us awake at night. One of the key challenges facing us was to focus on a more important target area that is applicable to plant-based meat. Number one, senior-friendly foods and its possibility. What we needed was softer foods. In order to create softer meat for a longer time, heat should be applied, which is pricey and expensive. However, as for plant-based meat, fiber structure is being changed, and we are able to create our desired texture. So even at lower prices, we could produce senior-friendly foods. Recently, there is a GLP-1 hormone that are injected into obese people, and new medicines are created. One of the key mechanisms of such medicinal development is high protein, high fiber values that should be fulfilled. So, contrary to our imagination, we are able to do high fiber and high protein into our meat making, and it is also relevant for GLP-1, and we are primarily focusing on GLP-1 dedicated commercialization. So 300 tons of processing and the relevant facilities are well up and running in Pohang and Iksan. So 10,000 tons of processing and relevant testing are our next target. We used to do material for our business offering, and we also expanded our horizon for alternative meat. For tailor-made foods, we saw untapped potential. That is not it. Alternative milk, egg, and alternative sauce are one of our potentials. So more softer egg and more easy to swallow milk show high market potential. So robot kitchen is another possibility. What makes robot kitchen unique is there should be a lot of mistakes based on the same procedure, but as for the animal-based ingredient, there were big variations and variability. However, we are using the plant-based one we are doing in factory. We're able to minimize deviation. In connection with robotics, we are able to build more systematic system, and we are running this sampling session and to make sure that you can meet our products in a grocery store, we will do our best. We are doing chicken, bulgogi, and pork as well. So KFC like chicken or products fit for Southeast Asian markets are what we are doing for portfolio development. And we are approaching global markets very proactively. So we will register as a family company in Food Valley, and we'll be joining COP26 as well to make sure how protein could be applied, and we are able to engage in discussion during COP26 session. And we are joining Swiss-driven mass challenge session. By doing so, we are generating the possibility for cooperation with plant-based makers, and we are doing cooperation with the companies targeting European region. So the origin of our product is how to eliminate global starvation. In order to address this challenge, first and foremost, the food industry should change. In the process of such transformation, value chains is bound to change. In order to lead the transition, the top-notch technology is what we need. Based on such ethos, we created a company. So tips, mass challenge, and startup competition are where we participated in, and we were producing good outcomes. This is our team. So material experts are who are creating our team. So how to commercialize them so that customers can enjoy these foods in their home. This is what we are doing. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Huang, for your insights on textures of plant-based protein. Thanks to Delight Foods technology, we will be able to have more variety of quality plant-based meat in the market shelves in the near future. Finally, for our last speaker, we have Miss Cindy Eun-young Roo, manager at Novonesis, a Denmark-based global company producing natural bio-additives that extend shelf life, enhance taste and texture, and maintain food quality through enzymatic hydrolysis. Ms. Ryu will present biology as a catalyst for a greener food future, highlighting how biology-driven innovations can advance sustainable food systems. Please welcome Ms. Ryu to the front screen.
Thank you so much. 감사합니다. 화면을 쉐어하겠습니다.
Thank you very much, and let me share the screen.
네,
Look,
감사합니다.
is it good?
네,
Yes, it's good.
출연자를 이렇게 초대해 주셔서
So thank you for
감사합니다.
inviting me as a speaker here. So I'm from Novonesis. So I'm in charge of marketing for Korean and Japanese market at Novonesis. My name is Yoon Young, and today I'd like to talk about biology as a catalyst for a greener food for future.
식품 제조에 도움을 드릴 수 있는
So, taking today's opportunity, I'd like to talk about how we can help in promoting
혹시
the sustainability of the food industry. So, have you ever heard the name Novonesis?
네, 아마 들어본 적이 많이 없으실 수
Probably many of you haven't heard of our name. So even me, actually, before entering the company, I did not have any idea about the name Novonesis. So you may be unfamiliar with the name Novonesis, but I'd like to give you a little bit of backgrounds. Novozymes and Chr. Hansen, those two companies were merged into create Novonesis. So I'd like to give you an explanation of what those companies are.
이두 회사는 덴마크에 위치해
So those two companies,
이제 크리스천 한센 같은 경우에는
Chr. Hansen and Novozymes, are located in Denmark. And Chr. Hansen was established more than 100 years ago. So Chr. Hansen was established in 1874. And these days, you must be familiar with the name Ozempic, Novo Nordisk. So only the enzyme part was separated from Novo Nordisk, and so as a result, Novozymes was established in 2000. But as of January last year, Chr. Hansen and Novozymes were merged, and as a result, Novonesis was created. So we are based in Denmark, and we have the Korean office in Bangbae-dong near the
제품 같은 경우에는
Arts Hall in Seoul.
프로바이오틱스
So this is what we are doing, and we are providing industrial enzymes, probiotics, and other biosolutions. As of last year, and our sales or revenue amounted to 6.4 trillion won, and across the world there are more than 10,000 employees, but here in Korea we have 15 employees.
그리고 저희 회사를 혹시 검색을 하시게 되면
And when you search
보시게 될 텐데요.
the company name Novonesis, you would see a lot of results. So there are many articles and reports, and especially in the case of Chr. Hansen, so they are well known for probiotics. And as you can see, there are 8 kinds of products here on the left, and except one,
저희 미생물이 사용이 되고
7 products actually here are using the products that we are producing.
경우에는 전 세계 40여 곳에
And
그리고 애플리케이션
we have about 40 R&D and application centers, and in more than 30 sites we are doing the manufacturing.
짧은 영상을 보여드리고 싶은데요.
Let me show you a short video,
영상에서 저희가 도대체
and through the video you would have a better understanding of what the company is doing and in what sense we can help you.
소리가 혹시 나오지 않는다는 말씀 주세요.
So if you don't hear the sound, please let me know.
Agents of change, around since the dawn of life, harnessed to create our biosolutions, We could tell you about the science, but we'd rather tell you about the impact, bringing people's needs back into balance with those of our planet. Like avoiding mountains of food waste and better meeting her nutritional needs and theirs, boosting crop yields by improving soil quality more sustainably, and removing that stain and those with detergent that saves energy and helps your clothes last longer with less reliance on chemicals, which keeps our rivers, lakes, and oceans healthier. While our probiotics work for your health too. Bringing our companies together means we can do even more, like creating animal protein without animals, giving old plastic new life to reduce carbon emissions down here, whilst developing renewable fuels to reduce them up there. And the remaining CO2, some of it will be turned into food. With the power of biology and our 10,000 dedicated minds, the possibilities are endless. Welcome to the era of biosolutions. Welcome to Novonesis.
네, 감사합니다.
Thank you for watching the video.
어느 정도 감이 잡히셨을지 모르겠습니다.
So with that videos, I hope that you can have a grasp of our company. So not only biosolutions for the food industry, but also we are providing biosolutions for the agriculture industries and other industries, and especially in terms of the food industry, dairy products, baking products, and beverage products, and meat, and plant-based food, and functional food, and plant-based food are the one that we are targeting as well. So for those products, we are providing our materials.
생물공학을 기반으로 한 솔루션을 사용하시게 되면
So if you use biosolutions, what advantages would be there for you? So let me explain that.
소비자들이 원하는 것은 저희가 더
So our goal is to give people more of what they want, and
제거하거나 줄이실
we give less of what they don't want.
소비자들이 원하는 것 예를 들어서
So in terms of what our consumers want, for example, delicious flavors or better textures. And so in terms of these segments, we can help you. But we are using less or no preservatives and texturizers and so on. So these are the segments that we can help.
자세히 깊이 소개해
So let me go more in details.
세 가지로 나눠서
So there are 3 points that I want to talk about today.
소비 기한
First, shelf life extension,
잉여
and second, residue utilizations, and third, clean label or shorter label. So let me talk about these 3 elements.
네, 먼저 자세히 들어가기 전에
So before getting into that, let me give you one question.
아마 답변하시는 걸 들을 수는 없겠지만
Of course, even if you answer, I would not be able to hear your answer well. However, please think about this question. How much food is wasted globally on an annual basis? Do you have any idea?
그 답변을 보여드리겠습니다.
Let me show you the answer.
저도 이걸 보고 많이 놀랐는데요.
So, looking at the answer, I was also quite surprised. According to the United Nations survey or report, as of 2024, on an annual basis, 1.05 billion tons of food was wasted. So how can we extend shelf life? So that way we can use food longer, and that will be good for sustainability. So by using microbes and enzymes, and we can extend a shelf life. So as of from January 1st, 2024, here in Korea, the term shelf life was changed into the consumption duration period. But in case of dairy products, the term shelf life will be changed to the consumption duration period from 2030. So if you use the microbes that we have developed by using bioprotective culture, you will be able to enjoy dairy products for a longer period of time. And secondly, for example, there are enzymes that you can use for bakery products and rice. So let's think about why bread is wasted, and this must be relevant to you as well. So for example, many people actually they throw bread away because of mold or fungi and so on. However, about 40% of people actually they waste bread because of the fact that the bread becomes dry and becomes too hard. So we have Nova Mill enzyme. So this is helpful for maintaining the quality of bread in a soft way. So this maintains crumb softness and elasticity. And in fact, many bakery companies here in Korea are using our enzyme. And we have the brand called Sensi. So if you use the Sensi enzyme, you can maintain rice, moisture, and resilience for longer time. And that is the benefit of using Sensi enzyme. So let me move on to the second element, residue utilization. Usually, there are certain bioproducts or the residual elements. So these residue is not just thrown away. So the residue can be treated and processed with enzymes, and the extracts or the substances that we get after the enzyme process can be used as seasonings and many other uses. So for example, if you use our enzyme, the residues that are surplus can be utilized for seasonings or for other types of usages. So please refer to the screen. So this is a case of a pork, and there is a flesh, the pork, around the bone. As you can see, there is the residual pork meat. So if you treat that with the hydrolysis process by using our enzymes, and you can separate the elements in a very soft manner. So the pork bones you can see in the right hand side after enzyme process. And let me move on to the third element, shorter label or clean label. So how can we enable shorter label? So let me give you an explanation. So if you use the microbes or the enzymes, so for example, and there is a milk in the middle. So this is the label that you would see: milk, food cultures, texturizers, artificial flavoring, coloring agent, and sugar. So these are the different raw substances and materials that you see in the label. However, shorter label or clean label means you can see just milk and food cultures. So this is the area where we are able to assist you. So in terms of probiotics, as you can see, we have a wide range of portfolio. So for example, BB12 and LGG. So as you can see here, so we have 8 categories. So there are 8 categories at the top, and clinically proven benefits exist across several health areas and targets. So the gastrointestinal health and immune health and so on. So we are using clinically proven materials. So if you have any questions, then please feel free to contact me and I will assist you. And this is the end of my presentations. If you have any further questions or if you have any questions, and please contact me, or you can directly email me if you have any specific questions as well. And if you scan the QR code,
오피셜 사이트에
you will land on the official website of Novonesis. And on the website, you will be able to see more detailed explanations. This is for your reference. Thank you for your precious time.
For the insightful speech about the technologies of Novonesis. It is truly interesting that the smallest enzymes can be a big game changer to food products. Also, a sincere thank you to all our speakers for their presentations today. Now we will open the floor for Q&A and discussion. If you are participating online, please submit your questions via the Zoom chat and I will direct them to the relevant speaker. If you are sitting in front of us, please feel free to raise your hand and ask the speakers any questions. This is also a good opportunity to network with participants and speakers, so we encourage you to stay engaged until the end. So we currently have one question in the chat, Q&A chat. It's a Korean participant named YC Lee about session 1. 네, 진흥원의 공유 공장.
So congratulations on Share Kitchen operation at the agency. Question 1 is, out of the ambient room temperature, is powder or liquid possible? Not in addition to the room temperature products, can you produce and refrigerate and the frozen one, refrigerated one? And thirdly, can you do the convenience store type a small packaging? So we will highly appreciate for you to continue to share your updated information. Please keep up the good work. So we'd like to hand over microphone to the presenter. So at our agency, we are doing liquid and powder. We can support every type of material. As for refrigerated and frozen storage products, we can cover everything. Depending on the desired products of company, of course, we may have some limitations in the way we package. We are struggling with the storage facilities. So we can continue to store every product continuously. We may have some challenges. As for small type packaging, we are providing relevant support, so there will be no big challenges.
네, 감사합니다. 혹시 현장
Thank you. Actually, is there anyone who has a question on site? And if you have any question, please raise your hand. Please pass the microphone. The microphone is not working well. I have a question to Mr. Lewis. So you talked about the stint. Actually, if the stint is attached to the food product, actually, is there any concerns about the food safety? And what is the level of the technological stableness or safety?
Thank you. It's actually a very good question. I didn't mention that in my speech, but all the solutions for stint, they are meant as an additive for the packaging. So there are not migrations towards the food. There is nothing that goes towards the food, and that's the main technical goal. It's to keep the additive in the packaging, not in the food. And that's also a key important aspect. That's why it's a very good question, actually, because it makes the solution suitable for fresh products. At least as definition, in some markets, fresh product, it's all of those products that doesn't contain any additives. And that's why our solution is suitable for them, because we do not aim to put the additive in the food. It's only on the packaging.
네, 답변이 되셨길 바라면서.
So did it answer your questions? And please, if you have any other questions, please feel free to ask any questions.
Raise your hand, please. 네, 가능해요.
Yes, please. My question goes to CEO Huang from Delight Food. So I appreciate your insightful presentation. Out of your presentation, compared to animal-friendly food in a cheaper price, you said that you are capable of producing senior-friendly foods even better than animal-based ones. In terms of flavor, did you carry out any relevant research? First and foremost, as for senior-friendly foods, based on the plant-based meat in terms of price and flavor, let me give you an answer. When we carried out testing out of the senior-friendly foods, one of the biggest downside is there are 3-minute ready-to-eat retort, the black soy sauce noodle, etc. Then the meats are broken down in a clumsy way. So this is the usual issue facing the original the food. However, when we try out the plant-based meat, there are even better benefits. So we tried out even higher temperature retort, and the texture has not been diminished. So what about price? So we may have some possibility of decreasing prices in the way of processing. So we are producing the plant-based meat at even lower prices currently. So even if we apply senior-friendly foods, we may be producing the affordable products. Thank you very much for your answer.
네, 또 다른 질문.
Any other questions? If you have any question, please raise your hand. Hello, thank you for the presentation. So I have a question to the fourth presenter from Novonesis. Thank you. So upcycling is about using byproducts or residue. So there could be foreign objects. So there could be hygiene issues. So I heard that that's why residues are not often used as raw materials again. So how do you address this problem or issue at Novonesis? So thank you very much for the presentation. So in order to answer your questions, I have prepared some slides. So the raw materials that you talked about is the raw product, raw material. That is my understanding of your question. So upcycling raw materials, actually the scope of usable and non-usable raw materials may differ from country to country depending on their regulations. And here in Korea, we have a very strict regulations. We have KS standard system. And in the case of the United States, there is association UFA. So they are working on sustainabilities and reducing food waste, and that's what I know. And so from your question, you talked about the raw material. So the raw material can be interpreted as the surplus residue from the manufacturers. So the residue materials are managed and controlled based on the consultation between the government and the concerned manufacturer. Did I answer your question? Thank you very much. Thank you. So, taking today's opportunity, I'd like to also want to ask you a question. So, in the presentation, you mentioned that there are many functions of enzymes, like extension of shelf life, and also the better textures of the bread. So, does it mean that you are identifying and discovering a specific enzyme? So I want to know more about the functions of enzymes. Thank you for the question. So regarding that, I have also prepared some answers as well. So I thought a lot about how to answer those questions. In the case of enzyme, the food structures and the substances may be subject to change ba- uh, uh, based on the enzyme process. Actually, there is a specific enzyme that helps making the textures become softer, and also there is amylase. And for example, when you look at these products, and I think this will help you have a better understanding. So I mentioned Novamil during my presentation, so they can be used for extending the consumption duration period. So actually, if you use this enzyme, the textures become softer, and also you can extend shelf life longer. So this is how it works. So as you know here, the ending parts is cut into smaller pieces here, as you can see. So the composition itself gets changed. So as a result, bakery products, the bread becomes more softer. So for more detailed explanations, I will share with you my the answer file with email. Thank you for the detailed explanations. So we have some time left still. So if you have any questions, you can leave questions in the chat or on site. If you have any questions, please raise your hand.
Any questions or comments from the Danish party? 네. 또 있으신 거예요? 네.
Is there any more question? So my question goes to ODS protein. I appreciate your insightful presentation. Out of your presentation, what I'm interested in is the process of fermentation. Specifically, so there are traditional microprotein production process such as continued fermentation method, etc. It may be traditional conventional way. Compared to the conventional one, what makes your technology different?
So we've seen we are using liquid fermentation, and we do fermentation of biomass. So what we have done is adapt the bioreactors that mainly were used for pharma industry in order to be used as a technology in the food industry. So we have created a whole new system of aeration and steering process, allowing our main fungi strains to be more to improve their yield and introduce a way of producing not only in a continuous way, but also in a feed batch and batch process, depending on the ingredient we are producing. So basically, as well in the sensoric part, we are allowing to control 100% what is happening as if we will be doing a precision fermentation, allowing us to reduce also the cost of the production in order to hand manufacturing, and allowing, and basically, well, that's one part in the side of upstream process in which we are fermenting upstream, but then in terms of downstream is where the key of our process is, in which we are allowing to keep the structure of the fungi and not including different texturizers in the final product. So in our sector, downstream is what makes the whole difference when it comes to the final product. And in this side, we are working under industrial secret to be more competitive with our competitors, basically.
Thank you for the response. I hope it helped.
또 추가로 질문하고 싶은 게 있는데.
I have a follow-up question. So my question goes to the CEO at ODS Protein. So there are mycoprotein, cell burial, there are beta-glucan and chitin, as one of the ingredient. This is my knowledge. Based on your actual mycoprotein, do you have dietary fibers such as beta glutin and kiti? So what is the content level? So if you use them, then my question is, what kind of impact does it have on human health? Did you carry out some research?
The moment scaling to commercial scale. So if your question is in terms of how much fiber content does it have, is it the question? Because if you are interested in the nutritional content specifically, I invite you to write us on the website formula, and we can share with you. We have an open data sheet to share the knowledge of Nawa protein itself. So I invite you to send a message to our website, and we could share it with you perfectly. And in terms of clinical analytical, in Europe itself, the protein is already approved, and we didn't have to run any clinical trial because it has been already proved to be safe for human consumption. Thank you for your question. I hope I answered correctly.
답변 감사합니다.
Thank you for your answer.
지금 question.
We have another questions in the question box. So to Mr. Huang, there's a question for you.
Recently, Beyond Meat said that they will not use the word Beyond Meat. It is not just about technical superiority. Their target will not be confined to domestic markets. So when you consider global reach, so there may be some limitation coming from meat analog instead of real meat. So what kind of countermeasures are you developing, and what is the content of sodium compared to Beyond Meat? Thank you. So in answering your first question, so when it comes to not using meat as a company name, this is government-driven decision. So companies are naturally following the government's direction. So what makes our strategy unique? So from global perspective, we conducted our own survey and research. Rather than using meat, so their culinary name may be used. There are various cases. For example, when we consider like pork-based meat culinary dishes, there may be something like that in Korea and in other countries. Rather than putting plant-based bulgogi, we can just sell ours as bulgogi. So in plant-based meat market, then there may be more necessity in connection with such kind of labeling. So I hope I answer your first question. In answering your second question, there is a cultural difference in approaching sodium. So we are minimizing sodium content, so we don't basically have to use sodium, but comparatively speaking, US companies would like to use patty so that it can be consumed right away. Usually they used to do some seasoning and grill them on patty. But in order to skip that concept, they adjusted the sodium content, and we are basically not using sodium for our products. Thank you for your answer. So I hope this answers question raised by YC Lee. Is there more question or comment?
마이크 전달 주시면 감사하겠습니다.
Please pass the microphone.
Thank you. I was just wondering, and it's mostly for the producers of different foods that have spoken to us today. How do you meet any concern regarding the ultra processed label, and how do you deal with that in your companies? So that could go to Delight Foods or ODS or Novanesis as well.
네, 이건 제가 번역을 해드리자면 대체 단백질 생산 기업을 대상으로 하시는 질문입니다.
So this is the over processing. So maybe probably this product is this question is for the protein related companies. So how do you handle the label issues?
먼저 답변 드리도록 하겠습니다. 저희도 특히
So let me answer first. So European region shows ultra processing related controversy. I'm aware of such controversy. So to what extent we can limit ultra processing? Different people have different criteria. For example, when we make pasta or tomato sauce, some may see that process as ultra processing, but we believe it is going too far. There are various additives such as preservatives and the synthetic like flavoring agent. So when it comes to addressing such controversy, we need to take such factor into consideration. We are focusing on clean label creation, protein, water, fat, and fiber. So these are the only additives that we are using. But when it comes to the refrigerated storage, everything is fully distributable. However, when we create various products, maybe we may be using other additives in addition to clean label. As for sausages and other conventional food products, so we may be using the existing level of additives. From the perspective of consumers who are consuming sausage, nobody will be asking for 100% perfect clean label. Based on the demands of existing consumers, we will fulfill their needs.
네, 혹시 ODS나 노보네시
So from ODS on the Novenesis, so do you have your input?
Yeah, in our case, we are a B2B company, so we sell the ingredient 100% mycoprotein, so we can provide insights to our customers how to develop their formulation, but we are not the ones who formulate the final product. So in our hand is to produce as natural as possible and provide the insight for them to be able to obtain the final result that is also as healthy as possible.
Thank you. 답변 감사합니다. 노보네시스에서 혹시 답변을 해주실 수 있는 부분?
Any input from Nobonesis?
감사합니다.
Thank you.
그 아까 발표에도 살짝 말씀을
So I briefly mentioned about this in the presentation. So we are giving less of what consumers don't want. So this is the objective that we pursue. So we aim to give more of what consumers want. So we are refraining ourselves from using the preservatives. So for example, ultra processing.
정확히 이 슬라이드에도 나와
So you mentioned about ultra processing food, and you can refer to this slide.
UPS라고 적혀 있습니다.
So this is the reference slide that you can refer to. In the case of enzymes and microbes, actually these are the elements that have been using from thousands of years ago. Actually, the cheese was created by chance, and also the kimchi or beer. So they are based on enzymes, or probiotics. So the enzymes and microbes and probiotics, if you use them well,
사용할 수 있는 식품 보존제라든지 향료 이런 것들을
preservatives and additives can be used less.
식감도 좋고
So by using our products or materials, actually you can enhance the textures and the flavor of the product. I hope that I have answered your questions. Thank you for your answer. So now it's about the time to close this session.
Insightful perspectives on sustainable food tech solutions and inspired future collaborations across the global food industry. Before we conclude today's session, I'd like to highlight some information on the slide, please. I'd like to highlight the Explore South Korea program taking place in October 27th to 31st. This program offers an international delegation from the Global Food Alliance a visit to explore the ecosystem of Korea's food industry and the largest food exhibition called Food Week and top Korean manufacturers such as CJ 제일제당 and Harim, and opportunities to connect with public organizations such as us and KFRI. We only have a few slots left, so please consult with your cluster organization if you wish to participate. Now, this is a wrap of our third Global Food Alliance seminar. Once again, thank you so much for participating in this event, and you can also scan the QR to learn more about detailed schedule of this Explore program. Thank you again for participating for this event. We look forward to see you in the future. And have a good start and good rest of your day. Thank you so much. 감사합니다.
감사합니다. Thank you so much.